Hi, my name is Henry, and together with my group mates Joseph, Ethan, and Tarun, we will be discussing Project Blackwell by NVIDIA. I'll now move on to the introduction. This presentation is a comparison analysis on NVIDIA's Project Blackwell and its competitors Intel Gaudi 3. You'll go into the financial side of the company, the alternatives to the project as stated earlier, the costs, the benefits, the cash flow, the viability indicators, the risks, and our final recommendations regarding the project based on everything we've just discussed. Project Blackwell itself is an upcoming superchip GPU for use in generative AI. NVIDIA, the company making it, is a semiconductor manufacturer based in California, who is one of the largest and most profitable in the industry. As for Blackwell, it consists of two GPUs connected to act as one, and is made up of 208 billion transistors. Its primary use is marketed as being in generative AI and large learning machines, but it has other uses in computer-aided drug design, quantum computing, and engineering simulations. On the market currently, it's the most powerful chip. The company spearheading this project, NVIDIA, is currently in a very good financial position, as demonstrated by the following factors. Its debt ratio is 0.37. This lower debt ratio demonstrates financial stability and effective risk management for the company. NVIDIA's return on equity is 600%, compared to an industry average of 14.96%, which is extremely good. It indicates very high profitability in comparison with all its competitors. The profit to earning ratio is 69.73% in comparison to industry standards of 59%, demonstrating impressive financial health and potential in growth.
Okay, my name is Joseph Kazana, and I'll be talking about the alternative, which is Intel's Gaudi 3 AI accelerator. So Intel, another manufacturer located in California, is developing high-performance AI accelerators. What they offer is precision performance compared to its predecessors, the memory capacity of 128 gigabytes, air and liquid cooling accelerators, and it provides a competitive performance at a lower cost than NVIDIA and other companies. So now I'll move on to their costs. So for both projects, they follow the same pattern of costs. For research and development, in this particular context, it would be talking about developing new semiconductor technologies, designing new GPU architecture, or creating new AI algorithms. So you've got NVIDIA's $8.6 billion research cost compared to Intel's almost double $16 billion. What Intel's higher cost indicates is a more ambitious project, and what NVIDIA's lower cost suggests a better established infrastructure. Same sort of pattern with the general sales and admin. NVIDIA's 2.6 compared to Intel's 5.6 billion. The lower cost for NVIDIA can suggest effective administrative processes, whereas Intel's cost could reflect a more complex and extensive sales strategy. Finally, for the capital cost, NVIDIA has a much lower 2.1 billion compared to Intel's 25 billion. And what this suggests is that NVIDIA is leveraging their existing infrastructure and facilities so they don't require major investment, whereas Intel do need that investment. They have to cover large construction and upgrade costs due to remaining competitive. So now I'll move on to their benefits. So in terms of quantitative benefits, NVIDIA has totaled around 47.5 billion. With AI growing more popular, NVIDIA's reputation with AI and machine learning will drive that sale revenue up. For the qualitative benefits as well, it pushes the boundaries of GPU and AI technology, so it positions themselves as leaders in the industry. For Intel, they've got actually a higher $49.8 billion for quantitative benefits. They have a competitive advantage, and as well, they leverage their own manufacturing facilities to produce less cost. However, they also have a qualitative benefit of lower energy consumption with their advanced cooling and air cooling solutions, which is a step towards greener computing. And now we'll move on to Ethan with the cash flow statements.
Thank you, Joseph. Hi, my name is Ethan. So we're going to start off with NVIDIA's cash flow statement. So we've generated both an income and cash flow statement for NVIDIA and Intel later on. And so in addition to the other assumptions, we're going to be using these following assumptions for the debt interest of 2.8%, using straight line depreciation method for the depreciation of assets, an income tax rate of 14%, and a repayment of 7% of the total borrowed on finance funds over 4 periods. And both NVIDIA and Intel, you will see, will be affected by an inflation rate of 3.5%. So as you can see here with Intel's cash flow and income statements, they're both affected by the inflation rate of 3.5%. That is just the general inflation rate in the United States. We've used that because the US is where both Intel and NVIDIA operate. The difference between Intel and NVIDIA as well is that Intel will have to repay 15.25% of their borrowed and financed funds over that same 4 periods. And so I'll move on to our viability indicators. So we've used the following viability indicators using internal rate of return, benefit cost ratio, payback period, and net present value. As you can see for both Intel and NVIDIA, they both of them have very financially stable and profitable indicators, thus showing that the project has very significant profitability potential and a financially stable position in the company. When comparing the two of them, they are both very viable, but we would probably recommend to use NVIDIA's as they are higher than Intel's. I will pass on to Taryn to assess this further.
Okay, so thank you, Ethan. My name is Tarun, and I'll be covering the risks for both NVIDIA and Intel and providing the final recommendation based on the financial indicators that we've discussed previously. So starting with NVIDIA, the three main risks include competition with rival companies like Intel, which could impact the project's success. And to mitigate this, they can use competitive analysis and differentiation strategies. Second one is regulatory changes in relation to AI-related government policies. And to mitigate this risk, they can involve regular monitoring of policy changes and communication with regulatory bodies. And for number three, economic fluctuations. So this involves recessions or inflation, which could impact the project. And to manage this, they have to use financial risk management strategies as well as maintaining a healthy cash flow. So looking at NVIDIA's sensitivity analysis, it shows that the NPV is the most affected by hardware cost savings, where a decrease of approximately $23.6 billion can lead to a very significant negative change in percentage in the NPV. So conversely, sales revenue is the least sensitive, where roughly $24 billion will only increase or cause an increase of 50% decrease in NPV. Now moving on to the risks for Intel. So for Intel's project, the three main risks involved include globalization risks, being specific disruptions to the supply chain, which could affect manufacturing and distribution. To mitigate this, they have to diversify supplies and maintain a very robust inventory system. Second one is technological failures, which are unlikely to occur, but could have a very high impact. And to ensure that this doesn't happen, they need to have regular maintenance and a robust disaster recovery plan. And lastly, the competition with rival companies like NVIDIA and AMD pose significant competition. And to mitigate this, they need to innovate in their product offerings and stay ahead. So for the sensitivity analysis on Intel's project, the most sensitive variable is the value of their product pipeline, where a decrease of approximately $14 billion can influence a negative 830% change in the NPV. On the other hand, an increase in sales revenue by 28 billion can cause a 37% decrease in NPV. Now, for the final recommendation, NVIDIA shows solid financial viability with a BCR of 4.19, which outperforms Intel, and all of the other financial indicators for NVIDIA also end up outperforming Intel. However, there is significant working capital investment of around $33 billion, which could pose risks if market conditions change. But despite this, the project's benefits will outweigh them at a larger scale than Intel, and therefore we recommend proceeding with NVIDIA's project. Hope you've enjoyed our presentation, and thank you for your time.